What's going on, friends, and welcome back to another video. Today we are talking about the second part of teaching your child to read. If you have not already seen the first part, I'll be sure to link it down below as well as pop it up in the top of this screen. That one's talking about letters and their sounds and the best ways to make those concepts stick to build a solid foundation to learning to read. If we don't already know each other, I'm Lauren. I used to be a second grade kindergarten and reading interventionist. And so I went from the classroom to now doing homeschool, and I'm helping other homeschooling and learning at home parents with their journey to hopefully make it easier, bridge some gaps, and show you that it is possible and very attainable to home educate. The first part was going over setting the foundation for reading with letters and their sounds and making sure that those concepts stick and make a big impact to help your reader to build on top of that strong foundation. In this video, we're going to be talking about what comes next. So after the alphabet, what do you teach? A lot of the time in kindergarten classrooms or even in first grade classrooms, you will hear something called word families. So these are easy for children to anticipate what's going to happen next. Same thing comes along with when you practice rhyming. So when I teach rhyming, when I have in the past, and what I taught my son as well, is that rhyming words have the same middle and the end, but their beginning is different. So this goes along with word families. So if you have the words cat, pat, sat, rat, those all would be part of the AT word family. They have the same middle and they have the same end, but their beginning changes. So practicing this with your child, rhyming words, and then recognizing that there is a sound at the beginning that can be changed, or even introducing blends in there. So instead of k, at, cat, then you would start to introduce brr, at, so B-R-A-T. So this would be a way for you to begin building on top of those concepts. So not only a CVC 3-letter word, but then to continue adding on to that. And that kind of goes right into the next idea, which is consonant blends. So working on consonant blends is going to be another next step after becoming familiar with CVC words, so consonant, vowel, consonant. Once you get into that pattern and your child has become very familiar with blending those sounds together to make simple words, then you can amp it up a little bit as you see and feel necessary for your learners specifically. I wouldn't say that there is a right or wrong way to do this, as long as you are getting exposure, you're practicing, you are anticipating any difficulties or misunderstanding that your learner has and correcting them as they go. They are going to be very familiar with and become more confident in this skill quickly. So if letters and their sounds was easy, this next step should become almost automatic for them, and then so on and so forth. So once they become familiar and kind of can whiz through something, that's your signal to amp it up or move on to something else. After word families and consonant blends, then I would say to start dipping your toes in some of those trickier concepts such as SH, TH, PH, WH, so some of those concepts that are not well known or right off the bat and you can't sound them out phonetically. For an example, the word ship. If we did not teach to read the letters SH together as a sound sh, then your child is going to be sounding it out s, h, I. And that's not going to make any sense to them. So going over reinforcing those type of patterns and rules are going to make it even easier to move on to the next ideas and topics. After that would be sight words. Now I have a whole video. I will also leave that for you guys to check out if you are interested in how we do sight words. There are many different ways. There are various lists that you can find that will help you to map out a sight word routine for your learner. This does not have to be something that is like excruciating and becomes like some long drawn out part of your instruction. But this can be something that is just easy, very automatic, and start off with the easy ones like A. A is considered a sight word because it appears frequently whenever we're reading. I is considered a sight word. Is, in. So there are some that can be sounded out, like on or at, and some that we see frequently, like the. So it's easy for you to then start introducing those, just as we talked in the first video about leaning on those familiar things like McDonald's to begin the conversation of letters making sounds. This is now the next step. So this is in a different league, but still the same familiarity. There are words that we see all the time. Stop or open. There are words everywhere. So beginning to point those out and to read them and recognize them with your learner is going to be another step in helping them to build confidence and helping them realize that we are immersed in language everywhere. Now, of course, as you are taking all of these things in and taking them on as the leader of the pack, you can also set the example by reading to your little. Now, it's one thing for them to just hear you read, it's another thing for them to watch you read. Now, as you are starting to read aloud to your learner, you are going to want to start pointing out things that you're doing. And yes, it's going to seem kind of silly and maybe even obvious to you, but starting to teach that we read from the left to the right is a big deal. Talking about capital letters at the beginning of our sentences, using different tones of voice, changing your voice. Those are all different types of characteristics in reading that are important for your learner to understand why you're doing them and to get an example and understand it's okay to be a little silly. It's okay to stop and realize and talk out loud and think out loud about different things as you're reading. When they become familiar with doing that, once they have the ability and the tools that they need to start reading, even if it's the very simple books, then they'll be ready. They are going to be so excited to even pretend that they're reading before they're ready for that. And once it comes time for them to be reading independently, it'll be a whiz. There are various resources out there for your child to begin reading when they're ready for that step. And those will be very simple, basic books, but once again, they're teaching those foundational skills and building that confidence before they jump into something where they might feel a little intimidated. I know there are Bob books. If you have not heard of those, I'll leave a link below so you can check those out. This is another resource, First Little Reader, and these are from Scholastic. So there are 25 books in here, and they start off with a level A. So you will often see either numbers or letters associated with reading levels, and a lot of the time, even in like at Target, you can get the easy readers, and they'll have like the levels on there for you as well. Trying to get this open so I can show you what these looks like. In these readers, you will notice that there are lots of sight words in there as well. So not only are there words that are going to be easy to sound out and very repetitive sentences and sentence structures, but there are also many sight words in there. So this is equipping your young reader, your budding reader, to have that confidence. For instance, this one's called Look What I Found, and then there are 8 pages. So this is a great way to get started. These are very simple, very easy, and not intimidating. You will find in packs like this, sometimes they will increase in difficulty, and other times it will be completely random. So that is something that you will have to kind of use your discretion and knowing your child best and what they're ready for so that you don't set them up to be discouraged. This was a little short and sweet, especially compared to part 1. I hope you found this video very informative, and if you have any questions, be sure to let me know. If you liked this video and want more like it, including more ways to help you with your learner at home, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and comment below if there's something specific, and I will see you next time.